Well, happy Friday, everybody. How are you doing this week? Hope you've had a good week. I enjoyed my time off. Hope you didn't miss me doing a recipe on Tuesday, but I was up in Saskatoon, so not near anything where I could facilitate that. Anyway, I am back, and it's time for Friday's shoutouts and groaner of the week. So let's get started. Our first shout out is to Tis Lisa Sings, a young lady who has a beautiful voice and does cover songs. So check her out, and I think you'll enjoy what you hear. Tis Lisa Sings. Our next one is a fellow who does nature videos and a sort of a commentary once in a while. And if any of you watch Heavy Metal Magnet, that's another shout out in a sense, Tony is Lucas's cousin. So this one shout out is Tony Nolan. That's Tony Nolan. And really interesting channel. I say he does nature videos and that sort of thing. Things to relax to and enjoy. Our next one is well, in Canada we'd say ZZ Outdoors. In the States I think you'd say ZZ Outdoors. And it is an outdoor channel. I talk about outdoor, woodscraft and things like that. Survival means and different interesting things, camping, you name it. They cover it, and I think you'd enjoy watching that. So check out, as again, if you're in Canada, ZZ, or England, ZZ Outdoors. If you're in the States, it's ZZ Outdoors. And it's just the two letters, ZZ Outdoors. And last but not least, the Black Crow. The Black Crow is a fellow who lives in the Netherlands and does magnet fishing, and it's quite interesting to watch. So I highly recommend you check out the Black Crow. All right, now you're ready for this week's groaner, and I hope you'll enjoy it. One Sunday, a family gets together as usual and goes to church, but for the first time, the father decides his daughter, who is now 6, is old enough to understand and contribute. And so as they sit down in the pew, he takes a quarter out of his pocket and hands it to the young girl and says, now this is to put in the collection plate, because we are called as stewards of God's creation to return a portion of what we make, what we earn, back to God. And we do that through the offering of the church. So this is for you to put in the offertory. So the little girl takes this obligation quite seriously, and she just almost white knuckle clutches this quarter in her hand as the service progresses. And they sing hymns, and they listen to prayers and readings from the scripture, and then the pastor gets up and gives his sermon. And towards the end of the sermon, the little girl observes her father lean over to her mother and whisper a comment, which she picks up on. And the service continues, and then the collection plate is passed around. And as the collection plate makes its way down their pew, the father notices that the little girl does not put the quarter in the collection plate. And he thinks, well, that's not right. I told her that's what it was for. But he decides, no, this is not the place to make a scene about it and cause a kerfuffle in the church service. So he decides he'll wait till they get home and talk to her about it then. So the service progresses. The end of the service comes. The pastor gives the priestly blessing, and he goes and stands at the back door and greets the parishioners as they're leaving. And finally, this family makes it up to the door, and the father shakes the minister's hand and says, good sermon, good sermon. And the mother shakes his hand, and the little girl reaches up to the pastor, and the pastor reaches out to shake her hand, and she places the quarter in the palm of his hand. And he looks at it and he says, oh, that's very kind of you, but you should have put this in the collection plate. And she says, no, you need it. And he says, oh, well, thank you. Why do you think I need it? And she says, well, after you finish preaching, I heard my dad say to my mom, he's got to be the poorest preacher I ever heard. So I figured you needed the money, not the collection plate. There you go. Not the best joke in the world, but sometimes out of the mouths of babes. And also, as they say, little pitchers have big ears, so you have to be careful what you say around children, right? It may come back to bite you. Alrighty, have a great weekend. Enjoy yourselves, and we'll see you on Tuesday. We're making pumpkin bread, And Hans, I know you don't like pumpkin bread, but you might enjoy the recipe. Maybe you could substitute something else. Please have a safe weekend. May you have a good time, and may God bless you. Take care.